Today, we're going to totally change how you handle data in Python. We're going to check out 3 really powerful functions: filter, map, and reduce. These can take a messy, multi-line for loop and shrink it down into a single, elegant data pipeline. And trust me, this isn't just about writing less code. It's about thinking about data in a much cleaner, more powerful way.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a quick look at the old way of doing things. Then, we're going to tour our 3-station data assembly line, filtering, transforming, and then getting our final result. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how to put the whole pipeline together and go over a little operator's manual to help you avoid some common mistakes.
So, let's start with a classic problem. Let's say you've got a list of numbers. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find only the even ones, double each of them, and then add them all together to get one final total. Now, normally your first instinct is probably to reach for a for loop, right? You loop through every number, you slap an if statement in there to check if it's even, and then you do your math. And look, it works perfectly fine. But it takes up a bunch of lines, you have to create temporary lists, it can feel a little bit clunky. But what if there was a better way, a more elegant way to think about this? Let's move on to the first stop on our data assembly line: filter. Its entire job is quality control. It looks at every single item coming down the line and decides if it's good enough to move on to the next step.
Think of it like a sorter on a conveyor belt. Imagine you have a huge box of phones and you only want the Androids. You'd have to pick up each one and ask, is this an Android? Well, filter does exactly that, but with your data. It only lets the items that pass your test, the ones that return true, make it through.
So you feed filter your whole list of numbers. It then applies a test to every single item. In this case, is this number evenly divisible by 2? And what it gives you back is a brand new, shorter list that has only the items that passed. The odd numbers, they just get left behind.
Now, to tell filter what to check for, you could write a whole separate function, like this isEven function on the left. But for a simple one-time check like this, it feels like overkill. Instead, we can use something called a lambda. It's like a tiny, anonymous function that you define right where you need it. No name, no fuss, just the logic.
All right, so our data has passed quality control. It's clean. Now it moves down the assembly line to the next station, map. This is where we actually start changing things. Map's job is super straightforward. It takes every single item coming down that conveyor belt and does the exact same thing to it. We have our list of even numbers, and now we want to double every last one of them. Map is absolutely the perfect tool for this. So map takes that list of even numbers that we got from filter. It applies our doubling operation to the first number, then the second, then the third, and so on all the way down the line. What it spits out is a new list of the exact same length, but filled with all the new transformed values.
And just like with filter, we can use a nice, clean lambda expression here. Instead of defining a whole double function somewhere else, we can just write lambda n times 2, right inside the map function. It's really efficient, and it keeps the logic right where it's being used, which is great for readability.
Okay, our data has been selected, it's been transformed, it's time for the final station on the line. This is the one that gives us our single final answer: reduce.
Now, reduce is a little bit of a special case. Unlike filter and map, it's not just available. You have to explicitly ask for it by importing it from a module called functools. This is a super common thing for beginners to forget, so burn this one into your memory.
The whole point of reduce is to take a list of things and, well, reduce them down to just one single value. It does this by applying an operation over and over, boiling the list down until there's only one thing left. So whether you're getting a total sum, a product, or maybe finding the biggest item, reduce is what you want.
So how does it work? Well, it starts with the first 2 items, 4 and 12. It applies our operation, in this case addition, and gets 16. Now that 16 becomes our new running total. Then it takes that total and combines it with the next item in the list. So 16 plus 16 gives us 32. It just keeps doing this, rolling that result forward with each new item until only that final value of 40 is left.
So, we've seen each station work on its own. Filter selects, map transforms, and reduce combines. But the real power, the real beauty of this whole thing is when we connect them all together. This is where the magic really happens. Instead of creating all those temporary lists in between steps, what if we could just feed the output of one function directly into the input of the next one? We can create a seamless, automated pipeline.
And here it is. This one line perfectly illustrates the whole idea. Now, it might look a little intimidating, but just read it from the inside out. We start with our list nums, we filter it for even numbers, we map our doubling function onto that result, and then finally we reduce that result all down to a single sum. This one line does the exact same job as that big for loop from the beginning. It's concise, it's clear, and it's super powerful.
As the creator of our source material said, it's about more than just making your code shorter. It's really a shift in how you program. Instead of writing out every single step-by-step instruction, the how, this pipeline clearly states what we want to do. Filter, then map, then reduce. This can make your code's real purpose so much easier to understand at a glance.
So before we wrap up, let's go through a quick operator's manual and look at a couple of the common tripwires that you might run into as you start building your own data pipelines.
Here's a really simple way to remember what each one does. Filter is your selector. It takes a list and gives you back a new, probably smaller list. Map is your transformer. It takes a list and returns a new list of the exact same size. And reduce is your combiner. It takes a list and gives you back just one single value.
And finally, let's talk about the most common slip-ups. Number one, hands down, is forgetting to import reduce. Your program will have no clue what reduce is. Simple syntax mistakes in your lambdas are also really common, like using a single equal sign for assignment when you meant to use a double equals for comparison. And last, remember that the lambda for reduce is special. It always needs two arguments, one for the running total and one for the next item from the list.
This powerful pattern of filtering, mapping, and reducing, you'll see it everywhere in programming once you know what to look for. So think about it. Where could this pipeline simplify your own code? Processing log files, analyzing user data, just cleaning up a messy list. The possibilities are pretty much endless. Thanks for joining me.